Hi there, this is Yuhunaton, and welcome to Swordfire. Glad you're here. My goodness, another difficult week. This person works at a school district, so this is the week prior to the first day of school. So many things going on, but it has taught me to really appreciate this time, this Sabbath day that this person is experiencing right now, and to allow this day to show to those who truly listen to this what life and peace is really all about when it comes to walking towards the Father's ways. You know, most people just don't care about this, and that's what this message is going to be about. It's going to be about the rejection. A lot of people have rejected this sort of message today, and think no matter what you say to certain people, no matter how sound it is, there are some people, most people out there, who have gotten to the point they cannot listen to something so simplistic yet such life promoting, as this message is. No matter how great it is, no matter how simple it is, no matter how much it releases the bonds, they still do not listen to these kind of messages. And this is why this person is going to talk about the rejection. And I think this is about the 14th video or so, and think it's time to really attest to what we've been speaking about each week. And as you know, this person's been going, just what has been learned from this week, and how can this be given to certain people who are listening. It's amazing how the world can be changed by a small group of individuals who do the righteous thing. And it's so easy for the enemy to get in the way of even those people. It says in the scriptures that this system will try to deceive even the elect, his chosen people, but it will not, because they are those who truly listen to the Father when the rubber meets the road, and will do what he says. And that's what it's all about. And this is why it's important to really be sound. Okay, so many people are focused on this type of conquest or that. Very they're so, how can we put it, they're so drunk with their own vanities, and so focused on carnal things right now, that when you share this kind of stuff, it just, some people, it's just not sexy enough today, that they got to have something that really gives pleasure to the senses. And this is the kind of thing that the enemy can really put something into that message, right? Add a little additive to it and start giving out this stuff, and people just grab onto it. It's amazing how many people are getting into this sort of mindset and are rejecting the message of the Father. This is the time for the chosen people to be sober. This is the time to prepare. Get yourself prepared for what is coming, because we're going through a very difficult time, and it's going to get worse for people. And if you do not have that spiritual preparation, if you have not been practicing, tempering your sword, that sword of truth, and listening to the Father, you are going to fall. Okay, when things get to a point, okay, when things break down and people look for light but they will not see light, as it says in Revelation, right? The sun will darken, right? The moon will not give its light, okay? And the stars will fall. Those lights will dwindle in those dark times. People will seek the truth and will not find it, because they do not know what to look for. Okay, I want to share something. It was in December 2010. Okay, remember seeing this lunar eclipse, and it was just insane. This person was outside, the clouds were out, and just seeing Orion, right, the Orion constellation, and seeing this moon, right, going right to the top, crowning Orion, and then the eclipse happening. Oh my goodness, it is a memory that is just in my brain, it's seared, you know, and knew that just the way that was shown, and the moon and the clouds going across, just the way this person was seeing that scene being played out right in front of this person, just it will always be something this person will appreciate. It was a sign in the heavens that showed. You'll see in the scriptures that the moon represents his chosen people, and when you see it crowns, and that Orion is the conquering king, right? And you'll see that story in the star constellations, and there is a story there. It's just a wonderful promise that he is with those chosen people, and although those chosen people will be darkened at that time, that darkness will be removed, and Orion will be kinged and crowned. His chosen people are the jewel upon his head. It's amazing, wonderful picture. Wish you could have saw it. Created a piece called Night Sign from the album Within, and notice ever since that scene, musically had changed, spiritually started to change. Stopped shaving this person's beard. Was just turned 30 after that point, and just decided, look, not gonna shave anymore. Something changed, something spiritually changed, and it has affected especially this small group of people. It has also affected this person's workplace and also the family situation. It's amazing what occurs in the spiritual realm, how it affects everything physically. But you saw a sign in the heavens. Someone told me, was hearing that we're going to have a solar eclipse, right? 40 days before we have let's see, which feast are we going to? My personal favorite, the Day of Atonement. The 40 days of preparation before that time. That's a omen, okay? And we need to start listening to these signs in the heavens. It says in the scriptures that these signs of the heavens are there for the Almighty, the Father in heaven, just as the signs that we were seeing right at the Moedim, right? Those lunar and solar eclipses that occur during feast days. We need to start being diligent and sober and listening and to what the Father has to say at this time. This person doesn't necessarily want to give, okay, messages like this, but am called to give it to whoever, okay, is out there. If there's two people that gain something from this video series, then it's worth it, because this person is not doing it to appease the masses. This person is not doing it for likes, but there is a sadness knowing so many people are just not going to get this, just not going to care, and simply cannot find this because they're so plagued with all sorts of different profane messages. This person really has listened to Isaiah and Joshua, especially Joshua, seeing him conquer, okay, the promised land. It's amazing. You'll hear people talk about going into the promised land, and they think once they get there, everything's going to be all fine. We just get to relax, sit down by a beach, and the Father's going to take over. Look, Joshua, when they passed through, okay, there was a passing through, right, the Jordan River. You see that they take the stones out of the river. The river divides, right, just like the Red Sea, and they go through on dry land. Another don't want to say baptism now, I'm going to say mikvah, another cleansing. The people were being prepared for this battle, okay? And you see, they go to Jericho, they go to this other city, they go to 20 cities, okay, and they just destroy, okay, everybody in these cities. Okay, they they take from among they put away all the it talks about the accursed thing. Okay, the Babylonian garment, right? And the silver that the Israelite wanted to take, but they stoned their family. They stoned everyone who had participated in this sin because of the promise. Okay, they were to enforce the Father's ways upon this whole land. And this what brought about the judges. This Joshua is a prototype example of what it takes, okay, to conquer the land. And it speaks about that in Revelation. It speaks about the moon, all right, with blood. There's going to be a persecution going on, but there's going to also be a major battle. Okay, it talks about, you see it in Revelation of God, Magog, right, and the blood up to the horse's bridle and all that. I'm going to let you read it, but this is not something that everyone's going to turn out okay at the end, and we have to understand there's judgments going on. You see it in Revelation, you see it in Joshua, in a book called Judges, and yet people still come to this person and will say, well, we're not supposed to judge because we see a quote of Yeshua that's been highly tainted and taken the wrong way to create a doctrine out of it, when Yeshua's judging Capernaum. Okay, he's judging, he's telling his disciples to, right, his apostles, to shake the dust off of the soles of their feet for those cities who reject their message. It would be better, right, for Sodom and Gomorrah on that day of judgment than for these people who reject the message. There is, believe there's a fire offering getting prepared, and people can sense it. You see people sensing it. You see these doomsday movies and all that. You see this end of the world and all these, sort of things, or like alien invasion. They can sense something is going to happen. Even the unrighteous, they have these dreams. Okay, it's just like animals, right, who can sense when a storm's coming. They start to panic and they don't know where to go. And by the time the storm takes place, okay, if they're not protected by those who have the ark, who can cover those chosen people, they're going to be lost, they're going to be destroyed, and their seed line will be gone forever. You see, this fight is not our own. It's the fight of the Father. You see, this is a spiritual situation. And so many of us know it's time to be sober, yet we're at a height of people who are drinking, who are in marriage, given in marriage, right? Who are partaking of the curses of mammon. People, this is a time to wake up. Not everyone can't, no one's going to, not everyone's going to listen to this and be surprised how many few will. But if you're one of these people who stumble upon this video series and can hear the Father speaking to you, now's the time to prepare yourself, get cleaned up, sober, because there's going to be people, okay, there's going to be righteous people who are going to seek that light during those times. This is the time where light will not be hidden in a bushel, right, but will shine in great darkness. Great is that darkness, but great is that light for those who shine during the perilous times. It's interesting, you see these zombie shows and movies, and you always see when things get really bad, what people are capable of doing. But we also see those people who rise up and are willing to claim the land. Okay? Right now, there are a lot of people who are sleeping, who are in that zombie-like state, who are giants in these cities. Yeshua, right? Joshua is coming to conquer. You better be out of these cities, all right? Or be like, right? What was her name? The prostitute in Jericho, right? Believe it was Rahab, who allowed these chosen people, right? These spies who looked at Jericho and asked them to, because she knew that the Father was with them and that they would take over the city, but for the sake of her and her family, because they had helped them, that they be saved. And they were the only one, right? The only ones who were saved from that city. That's how small a remnant will be in those cities. You don't see the fire offering. These people are being gathered for a fire offering because they have rejected the Father's message. The Father has allowed them to believe in a lie, and it's a hook in the jaw. And it's once these people are all gathered up, that's when the flame will come down and destroy it. This person, remember having this dream? It will happen. Okay? This is a time to be separated, be spiritually separated from these cursed people. Because they have allowed themselves to be cursed and are following along in not cleaning up their lives and allowing these curses to take over their entire seed line. Do not participate in the accursed thing it speaks about in Joshua. Listen to what Joshua is saying. Listen to what the book of Judges is speaking about. You know, you look, for example, Star Wars, right? And you see it's talking about this fictitious people like the Jedi with these lightsabers and stuff. Look, it's really this myth about these people in the book of Judges, right? It's these people that are oppressed, right? And this chosen person goes up, right, and claims the land and guards and judges and conquers the land, right? You see they have superhuman abilities. Look at Gideon, look at Samson, right? There's these 12 judges throughout time. It's definitely a reference to that. You see these kind of heroes, right? And these are people who they see the bigger picture. They're listening. They're saying it's time for this land to be conquered. This plague, this accursed thing has gone so far, and it's time. Although we have been hunted down, we are going to listen to the Father's voice and do it His way. Not by using the sword of man, but by using His Spirit, His flame, His fire. That is the true sword. We need to practice and listen. This person, there's a lot of people out there that really get, into the doctrines found in Scripture and all these wonderful formulas and so forth. And there's a lot of great things in the Scriptures. But we've lost the main point, and that's this. Are we being prepared of the time of trouble, right? The time of Jacob's trouble. Are we tempering that sword, that flaming sword of truth? That's what it's going to take to guard our seed line. Because so many have rejected the Father's voice. For the Father to reign on this earth, it's going to take people who are listening and are not letting these other vices to take hold of their lives and listening to the Father and committing themselves to the command of conquest, to take over the promised land, the land of promise, right? How can his kingdom come to earth? Someone is going to have to stand up for the Father's ways and do it his way. Okay, it's not the type of battle you're thinking of. It is something spiritual. It is something that is for the chosen to perform. Right? We've been speaking about this throughout the entire series so far. There is a performance happening right now. There's a play. We're called to perform, but if you're not hearing the Father's voice, how do you know what role you're going to play? How can you play it effectively? And are you simply going to sit there in the crowd watching, or are you part of the play, acting and performing the role that the Father has told you to perform? That's what people are going to listen to. There is a time coming. We all can sense it. We all can sense it. Father, we know there is a time coming where we need to be prepared that although people have rejected your message, we will stand true to your message and will perform when called upon. There will be a time at work, a time with our families, a time when we're doing activities. We'll know when this time comes. And we're going to be asked, is it time? And you're going to say yes. Say the truth at this time. Amidst adversity, do what the Father says. He's asking, are you ready to perform? If you're not, now is the time to listen and get prepared. Because once the seal is opened, right? Once those chosen have left those cities, look at Lot, okay, when it comes to Sodom. Look at what those people did in Sodom and Gomorrah. You can read about it more in Jasher. Okay, you see that these cities are performing the same type of abominations. They flaunted out there for the world to see. Don't partake of the accursed thing. Okay, they have rejected the Father's voice. Do not partake with these people. Father, please be with the chosen people who have decided to step away from those who are not listening to you, to not partake of their curses. They have rejected your message, but we who listen to you are going to be faithful. We're going to persevere. We're going to perform at this time, Father in heaven. Let us listen. We're not doing it so we can be recognized. We're not doing it for money. We're not doing it for fame. We're doing it to obey, because you're telling us in our spirits to be prepared to speak to those who will listen and to reject those who do not. Because they have to reject you, you will reject them. Father in heaven, thank you for being with us today. Thank you for listening to us and giving us strength at this time. These people in this small group need to hear this. They need to hear this right now. Okay? They're being tested and tried. And as this person has said, during the fall times, right, you see it, we're in another Shemitah, okay, we're in this another cycle. And many people believe this is a war cycle, and people sense war coming. Not the war you're thinking. This is a spiritual war. And people are going to be tested and tried for their faith. What do they really believe in? Those numbers are slowly being completed. And once it is complete, that's it. Those last day events, right, will be rapid ones. You do not want to be, right, in that judge city. Everyone was destroyed. Okay, in these cities, they came and conquered one by one. That's what it takes to clean the promised land. It's not easy. But this is the time to brace yourself. Humble yourself today. Listen to him. Do what he says, okay? Okay. Aharon, I'm glad you went through this surgery. Okay, Yosef, please keep listening. Keep listening. And Yashar, know you're busy. Know you guys are all busy right now. No, Magdalene is busy. I know there's a lot of things taking up our time. And there's a reason for that, because the enemy is trying to push certain things upon certain people to prevent them from understanding who they really are and to actually partake in the performance they're supposed to do. This is a time to take it seriously. Take it seriously. Anyways, this is Yehunatan praying, urging for his chosen people. All it takes is one person. And this person is doing what it takes for everyone to have that opportunity to hear the Father's voice. However few. It's not about numbers. It's about the quality and sincerity and humility of that spirit within. Thank you, and look forward to more in the future. You take care. Bye-bye now.